Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I made this animation in Blender 3D. This is my first tutorial, so feel free to give me feedback in the comments. First, I made a body by adding a subdivision modifier to the cube. And I also used this image as a reference. Then, in edit mode, you can adjust the shape by moving, scaling and rotating the vertices until you get something that you like. And after you're done, you can apply the subdivision modifier and also add a new one if you want to. And also right-click and shade smooth. Then press Ctrl S plus Y to scale the object on the Y-axis only or any other axis you want. Then to make the arm, first add a sphere, scale it down and place it into position. We will also use this later to create the other arm and the legs as well. Enter edit mode, and before you do anything, don't forget to enable proportional editing right up here. This will make editing much easier. Ctrl S to scale, Ctrl G to move, Ctrl R to rotate, and adjust the vertices to create the right shape. After that, you can shade it smooth as well and also add a subdivision modifier. Then duplicate it to create the other arm and slightly adjust it in edit mode so that it's a bit different. Duplicate again to create the legs and also adjust them in edit mode as well. As you can see, now I have a pretty nice looking model. We just need to make the eyes and the mouth. To make the eyes, first start by adding a circle. Scale it down and adjust its position, just like this. Then enter edit mode, select all and press E to extrude and S to scale. Do this twice and then hit F to add a face in the middle. Select all and extrude again. After that, you can add a subdivision modifier and set it to 2, just like this. Then duplicate it to create the other eye. Now to make the mouth, add a plane, rotate it, move it a bit forward, and then scale it down. Enter edit mode and start adjusting the vertices. Press E to extrude to add more vertices and create the mouth shape. Don't worry if the edges look a bit sharp, we'll fix that later with a subdivision modifier. Now you can add 2 modifiers, a subdivision modifier like I mentioned earlier, and a solidify modifier. And that's it, we've finished our model, so now we can start working on the armature for the animation. First, add a bone, enter edit mode and scale it down. Then you can press E to add another bone, and repeat this process until you get something looking just like this. Then select all the parts except the eyes and the mouth. Make sure to select the armature last and then parent them to the armature with automatic weights. Now if you select your armature and go into pose mode, if you move the bones you will see that the mesh gets deformed along, so we can later use this to animate our model. Now let's start working on the shading, so enter the shader editor and select the body and add a new material. You can press Shift A to search and add a diffuse BSDF. Then a shader to RGB and connect it to the diffuse BSDF just like this. And finally add a color ramp. Connect them and make sure to set the color ramp to constant. Then you can adjust the color to your liking. Use the same material for the arms and legs. Then for the eyes, add a new material and add an emission shader. Do the same for the mouth, but change the color. And that's it for the shading. Now we can start working on making the outline for our object. So to do that, first select the body and add a solidify modifier. Then we will use the eye material as a second material. And make sure to enable backface culling for the outline effect to work. Then go back to the solidify modifier and copy these settings. Now you should get this really nice 2D look. Then you can just repeat the same process for the other objects. Now that we're done with that, we can start animating. But before that, select the eyes and mouth and the armature. Make sure the armature is selected last. And then in pose mode, select the top bone and click parent to bone. Now in pose mode, you can start working on the animation by pressing I to insert keyframes, moving and rotating your bones, just like this. Then you can also add a displace modifier to the body for a sort of wiggle effect that looks really nice in the animation. Click New. And make sure you place the displace modifier above the solidify modifier. Then go into the texture panel and set the texture to clouds. Then go back to the modifiers tab and adjust the strength to around 0.13. Now if you change the size of the cloud texture, you get this really nice wiggle effect. To animate the mouth, add 2 shape keys and set the second one to 1. Now with the second shape key selected, go into edit mode and adjust the shape. Now if you go back and change the value of the second shape key, you get this animation. Then you can keyframe the value of the shape key by holding your cursor over the value and pressing I to insert keyframes. Further adjust the animation to your liking. And then duplicate the model multiple times and move it around. You can also slightly change the shape and color for more variety in your scene. Then you can press Ctrl Alt plus numpad 0 to align the camera to your current view. Add a plane and scale it to make the ground. Then enter the shader editor. And here's my nose setup for the plane. I used the real image of wood and added a color ramp to adjust its color. You can use any image you like for this. And also the second image texture is normal texture, which I used for texture painting later on. Here are the settings for the second image texture. Then in edit mode, press U to unwrap the plane. In texture painting mode, make sure to select the second image texture and you can start painting over the plane. Up here you can adjust the radius of the brush and the strength. Now if you get back in the shader editor, you can adjust the color of the hue and saturation node to get something that you like. I went for a green color. Then you can go back in texture paint mode and keep on painting. If you want to erase something, you can set the brush color to black and paint over. Also, don't forget that when texture painting, your textures don't get saved automatically, so don't forget to click Save All Images. For a final touch, you can enable bloom and set it to a blue color. And that's it, thank you for watching, here's the final animation.